That's what we do.
That's what we do. Have chit chat beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So Barry and I are wondering today, do you think dating is about luck? Do you think that you're having bad luck? Do you think other people are having better luck? Especially those people who say, I met them when I was not even thinking about it, when I wasn't doing anything. And they don't talk about any of their preparation that they did ahead of time. So it gives that luck so much pressure that we're going to talk about today. Hopefully it'll relieve your angst.
Yes, we're going to unpack that, shall we say.
Unpack it. Yes, there's a lot of baggage about that. A lot of packing that people have done about luck. So today we're again on the new streamingnetwork.com, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and podcast #1 internet singles talk network. And this is Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Christine.
So wow. Yes, I love talking to you every week. I look forward to it. It's like, oh, it's Thursday. I get to talk to Barry.
Same here. Likewise.
So luck. It rank it up there with, well, doesn't everybody know how to date? And I'm the only one who doesn't. And Barry and I are here to say nobody just knows how to date. And
right.
We learn new things, and we've been studying it for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So really, luck is like just knowing it's inappropriate, inaccurate pressure that you put on yourself, thinking that luck has something to do with it. That generally people who end up with something successful, a business, a career, love, it's because they've done some work ahead of time. And yes, they paid attention to maybe being in the right place at the right time or saying something at the right time. And it doesn't generally just happen though, right?
Right. It's kind of like thinking when you have someone says they're like an overnight success when it took them 25 years to get there.
Yeah.
The reality is that dating is not, but I mean, yes, it could be luck that you might bump into somebody, but dating is not that, because luck is getting a good parking spot or something else like that. It's not such a big thing, but dating requires more than just, oh, I met somebody, that was lucky. No, it's like, what do you do then? How do you communicate? What happens at that point? So, and like I said, with an overnight success idea, dating a lot of times is 90% preparation and 10% getting out, this sort of thing, because really it's about the inner game, as we've talked about many times in our podcast, that how you go about it is probably more important than the actual doing of it. So we're going to basically break this down the way it makes sense. And yes, there are some people who act like or think like it's about luck for them. But the reality is, as you said, it was really the fact that they did the things that lined them up in the right place. So,
really?
and I just want to say this thing about luck, because I remember one of my spiritual teachers talks about this, how what luck actually, the acronym for luck is living under correct knowledge.
Oh, I like that. I've not heard that before.
So in this conversation, what we're going to teach you is what sort of knowledge you need, so you'll have the correct knowledge in which you go out dating, which therefore you'll have more, in quotes, luck the way you want it to. So there.
Oh, I like that. Well, we were all about being proactive, and I like that acronym a lot. Thank you for sharing that. So what is the inner preparation? Because part of what's happened lately that I have heard over and over and over is this whole scarcity mentality. Women are saying it more than men, but there's just no good singles out there. There's no good men out there. They're all married, they're all taken, or they're all awful.
Right.
And one of the analogies I give them is that my late husband was in the car business the majority of his life, and he mentioned to me that the least popular color car, who knew, was blue. People just generally, it was hard to get one right off the lot. People hardly ever ordered them from the factory. There was always a good reason that they ordered one, because nobody just picked it. So I mentioned to people, for the next week or two, just notice if you see a blue car. And it's amazing how many blue cars they see if they're looking.
Right.
So when you think, oh, there might be a whole bunch of people out there. So one of the ways is to say, how many people are there in the world, period? Or if you want to feel better about it, then in the community that you live in. And then have it, just pretend, because I can't do math, that half of them are men and half of them are women. And then you take out the percentage that are probably married, or if you're heterosexual, aren't interested in you. there's still a whole bunch of people. Let's say there's only 30%, 20%. If you take how many people there are in your community, there's still a lot of people. And yes, they're not all for you, and generally most people only want one. But if you go with that attitude of, oh my gosh, there's so much abundance, I get to pick and choose, I get to go shopping, there's never going to not be enough people for me to look at. You see the different attitude of there's not any people out there.
Right.
Makes sense to me.
Absolutely. And I mean, not trying to say make it sound like it's a numbers game. However, when you start to realize that it isn't just a limited possibility, there is in fact a large number of possibilities, it makes it a much more amenable and friendly and fun activity. Because the thing is, you know, the dating apps are interesting to play on too, because depending on which dating app you're on, you might get 20 matches, you might get one match. And so the number of matches you get can make you feel differently. So you go, oh, there's so many possibilities out there, great, even though you don't match any of them. But there's one was only one match, it's not feeling so excited, so exuberant because only one match. So the recognition about this whole process, and I was talking about this in I was teaching my class last night, about it really is an internal attitude. It's the attitude you have towards it. Because if there's lots of choices, maybe you feel more excited than if there's only one choice. You might feel less excited. But the truth is, your inner excitement is up to you to choose what you want. You can be really excited about that one choice, or you can be really non-excited about other things. So what you bring to the dating experience and what you bring to the research, so to speak, is something that's really important. So it's, again, it was earlier, it's about the inner game in a lot of ways. It's doing the inner work. And having a positive attitude is a large part of this process. So you want to be lucky, have a positive attitude. That's a good starting point.
So part of the preparation is your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to think, I'm going to go out of my house and I'm going to run into people and I'm going to at least say, I'm going to at least smile. I'm going to at least look at them and smile, even if I don't feel comfortable saying something. And then when I feel a little braver, I'll say hi. And if I feel a little braver, gosh, cute dog, or wow, that interesting thing that you have in your shopping cart, or wow, you look so happy today, or love your tie or your shoes or something. Because all of that is to end up with you feeling like you're getting practice of talking to people and gosh, they're nice back and they're smiling back, and fight the, yeah, they're probably married or they're probably narcissists. Because that's, if you're already in that negative mode, that's generally what happens when I say, well, what's the rest of the conversation in your head? To stop that, just stop saying that, because it's not the truth. It's not the truth that everybody's like that. Even if you have had, Barry and I have to say this, even if you've had a bunch of bad experiences in a row, that doesn't prove that everybody's a bad person. It means that maybe you need some more knowledge on how to attract and be attracted to somebody that's not bad for you. So use it as fodder for, oh, I could work on this. I could work on getting braver to talk to people. Oh, I could really look at, which is what Barry and I talked about, that in our journey of dating, we both went, oh yeah, I keep attracting these same people that aren't right for me. What is it that I have control over and that I should do differently? So that is so the groundwork that when the right person does show up, you'll recognize them, because that's the other thing that can happen. If you haven't done the preparation, that right person could just, I told my husband, he said, oh, I wish we'd met each other sooner, which would have been nice since he died so fast. But I said, I wasn't ready. I was getting ready for this. He admitted he was too.
Well, that's fair. But a piece of that also is, you know, because there's like the thing about practice, about getting out there and having some practice beforehand. You know, retail employees are supposed to be nice to you. So why not practice with them? Not saying flirting with them, but meaning just to be communication. When you go to a retail store, when someone says, I can help you, talk to them, have a conversation. You may not be able to get what you want in terms of the clothing or whatever you're going to the store for, but it's like practicing that muscle, developing strength in that ability to communicate back and articulate what you're feeling. I've been, as I said, over the last 5 years, I've been hiking every morning, 6 days a week in the local hills. And there's not thousands of people there, but I cross paths with a good 20, 30 people over every morning when we go hiking. It's pretty early in the morning, not a lot of people are there. But some of them become friends because we said hi, we said hi so many mornings, we actually stop and talk now. So it's been over a period of time. But it's a practice and that sort of thing too. And some are men, some are women. and that none of them are like necessarily dates I want to go on. But the thing is, they become connections, and who do they know? Because that's the thing, they might be thinking, I like that guy. Maybe I'll find someone I know who likes him too, sort of thing. So the practice of getting out and connecting and socializing, and yeah, if you're in a place where there's not a lot of people, maybe you've got to find some hobbies to do. We've talked about this in many, many shows before about how to build up your social network and go and do things in service in a place you can make a difference. But just going out shopping can give you practice skills how to communicate and be comfortable in your skin, because you're always at home, living in your own place and never leaving the house. It's hard to have luck that way, to say the least.
And those are such important muscles to keep exercising, to be brave, to say hello to people, be brave to ask them a question, be brave to give them a compliment. Just be brave, because it'll make you seem more approachable. It'll help you seem, even if you don't feel it, a little more relaxed, so that if there's somebody that might be of interest to you or you are of interest to them, the pathway is already open. It's already got a lot of, those well-trod trails. Don and I, when we go riding, we've never gone a place that a whole bunch of horses haven't already gone. We are very clear that we are not the trailblazer. I've seen them. I know who they are, but it's not us. We're like, 200 horses have been through here in the last few months. There's a new place, but we can go now because we know it's really safe and the dirt's down and they'll cut back some of the brush. Yeah, we are not the trailblazers at all. So practicing where there's already something that feels okay, comfortable enough, that you're in public, that it's a place that you really do have something to say, do that, because it gives you the opportunity to feel like there could be more of a relaxed exchange.
It sounds so simple, but it's such an easy thing to do. The good thing about it is not effortful. It's something you can really, again, it's like building up confidence in a way, building up that sense of trust in yourself. Even though it is easier because you've gone somewhere it's already been done, it's so much better to practice that way, because, again, if you feel like it's only on luck, you may be denying yourself the possibility to be out there doing things that would actually improve your chances of meeting somebody anyway. Because yes, even though it's not about luck, it is about improving your chances. And I hate to say this, but the chance of meeting somebody improves when you meet people. As simple as that sounds.
You're so hard.
So choosing to go what place where you can meet people. I know you're a big fan of meetups. There are some things you can do out in the world that aren't primarily targeted straight on trying to meet that one person. However, they give you practice skills of becoming socially adept, about having great communication skills, about listening better, about the things that, frankly, you will apply to a relationship. So get out and meet people. It's the first step to actually having some luck of actually dating.
Yeah. We nicely tell you the harsh truth that but you don't always tell yourself.
Yeah.
The other thing that we've talked about before is I get these, like, somebody will say something and then a month later somebody will mention the same thing, and a month later somebody will mention the same thing, and I think I should go do that. Now that 3 people in a row have said, I think you'd like this thing. And I have to tell you, it is close to 100%. When I go to that thing at the time I finally go, I end up joining and staying for a long time because they turned out to be my people, because there were enough of my people who mentioned this. And that was part of the Inside Edge. I was part of Woman Sage, because I kept hearing about this activity or this group or these speakers that kept showing up at this place. And it made me just go, all right, I'm going to go once, especially the Inside Edge. You had to be there. It's so damn early in the morning. And I, at that moment in my life, was not an early morning person.
Oh, yeah.
But it turned out to be so beneficial for me in so many ways. So if you get a bunch of people saying things, or you just keep going, I really need to do this thing. I have a client that just started pickleball lessons, and she's not even a tennis player, but she's kind of athletic. Oh my God, she wants to play every single day. She can't because she has a very thriving real estate business, but she truly would go every day. She's taking lessons. She's joined a couple of groups. She's just having the best time. And it's because we brought it up. We talked about it about a month ago, and it kind of germinated. And she goes, I have the paddle somebody gave me as a gift, and I've heard about it from other people. I've asked around, and I'm going to go. So warming up to it is perfectly fine. Yeah. And then eventually do it. You need to eventually do it.
Sounds so simple, doesn't it?
Yeah. The other day I heard it's simple but not easy. That was
Yeah.
what lets us off the hook a little, that we get resistant and we don't want to do it right now this minute, because it's so simple. And the big and in the middle, it's not easy. It's a choice. It's to buck yourself up. I'm going to talk to strangers. I won't be good at it. What if they don't like me? Because we all fell back in junior high or elementary school at that point.
Sports or whatever it was. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. To go join something new. In fact, when I went to the Inside Edge the first time, it happened to be a meeting that was an odd meeting where they were asking all the members, and it was my first time. Maybe it was my second time. What did you think? And do you have any suggestions? And I said, yeah, you're all so warm and nice once you're part of the meeting. I said, when I got here, I signed in and there wasn't anybody to tell me what to do next. And I'm pretty independent, but I would have liked that. They said, oh, would you like that job? So they gave me
There you go. Yeah.
It says in your wonderful volunteering at your church, I knew that would crack you up. But I got to tell you how much I love that job, because I knew what people liked who liked that. So yeah, it was really fun. I did it for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what we're saying here all the ways is like, because the thing about dating is, especially if you haven't dated for a while, is this massive wall of uncertainty you're going to cross over. But when you're on the other side of it and you actually start meeting people and you actually get into a relationship and everything's going easy, you look back and you wonder what all the struggle was about. So what we're really trying to say is we want to bring down that wall of difficulty to a place where you can just step over easily, because that wall is made up. It's not real. But there's that fear factor inside, the emotional piece, which is all the inside game, as I said, to risk going on a date and not know if it's going to work or not. Because the thing about dating is not about luck, but dating is also about willingness, because you've got to be willing to put one foot in front of the other and to go on dates that don't work. I've had many dates that haven't worked, and that's actually been fun, frankly. And that's the thing I would say. If you haven't gone on dates that don't work just to have fun, you're missing out. Because I've learned so much about other people, about women that I've been on dates with that didn't work out. It helped me refine my list. And frankly, I helped them refine their list. But the thing is, because I have a challenging position being in, because I know so much, it can get me in trouble. That's when I go on dates, I have to really hold back on what I want to say, because it's easy for me to give advice, and I don't want to do that when on dates. So for me, dates fun because of that experience. So I want to say, for those of you who are watching, who feel or listening, who feel like dating is so much harder and it needs luck and everything else, no, it requires willingness. I'll say it that simply.
Yep. To decide that you really want to learn how to date, you really want to start making social connections, you want to go join a group or join a dating site, and you're going to just do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. The Susan Jeffers book. That then if you say, there's nothing I'm going to do that's wrong, I'm going to just learn. I'm going to learn about me. I'm going to learn about them. I'm going to learn about what I need even more and go back and refine my list. I mean, really, if you look at it that way, it takes so much of the pressure off. It's not like you won't still have some concern and worry. It'll just be less.
Yeah.
You've looked under the bed. There's no monster under the bed. Okay, I'm going to go do this thing and be all brave about it.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that after the break. So you want to do a quick intro before we go to that point?
Yes. Thank you. I'd be happy to do that.
Sure.
So, wow, I wonder what you've thought in your life, the listeners here and the watchers, what have you thought about luck? And is this giving you a different perspective and you'd like to talk to Barry or I to refine your thoughts or change your thoughts or make them to your benefit instead of your detriment? So the best way to get a hold of me is to go to my website, which is www.theperfectcatch.com. Scroll to the middle of the page to the questionnaire of what's holding you back from love. Click on that. 10 brief questions, where you are, where you think you'd like to be. Then you'll have access to my online calendar. You can schedule your complimentary conversation at your convenience. You can also send me a personal private email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com and tell them how to reach you, Barry.
Similarly to Christine, I have a website and an email address, so I'll give you both. You go to my website, which is barryselby.com. And on my site, it's at the top of the screen, there's a little introductory paragraph under the title that says, do you want to find out more information? Let's chat. Click on that button. It'll take you to my calendar and also a form you fill out, which has about, well, I can't remember questions, less questions, but it'll give you a chance to pretty put some information in. And I'll give you a chance to schedule a Zoom call so we can chat to each other, get to know each other better and see if we want to work together. If you want to send me a direct email, you can send me an email at barry@barryselby.com. And if you have any questions, reach out that way. And at the end of the show, we'll tell you more about how you can reach us in all the other places we play. But that should get you started for now.
And we'll be right back after this wonderful commercial from this great station that broadcasts our podcast with more information about dating is not about luck.
See you in a moment.
Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. And today we're talking about dating is not about luck. It just
Indeed.
isn't. I like thinking that I have a lot of control over what's going on in my life, and I'm not just dependent on luck.
It is something that I guess I like having luck around parking. It's probably my biggest luck thing.
Me too. I have good parking karma. Do you have good parking karma?
Well, I do, except. Well, actually, no, I'll put this in because I'll teach from this point. Saturday, I went to a friend's theater show up in Hollywood. Not my familiar neighborhood, but I've been there once before. And when I got there, there was street parking, but I thought I'll stick it in the parking lot because it's safer, it's off street and be great. So put it in the parking lot, went to the show, had a great time, we're all talking, had a great time. And afterwards, we decided to walk across the street to Cantor's Deli, which is a famous deli on Fairfax in LA, went there for dinner, which frankly, I'm not very impressed with the food. It never is good food, but it's 24 hours a day, so it's okay, you know. And we come out when we're done and go to back to get my car, and the parking lot is locked. And mine's the only car in there. And the thing is, I had a hunch, an intuition when I pulled up first. The street parking was open. I should have parked right there, and I didn't. I parked in the lot. So I found my friend. Initially, I was kind of panicked because I didn't know if my friend was still there or not. I could have called her, because I called, she didn't answer, but she was still in the restaurant. I said, you know, got a problem, because she runs the show and she also works with the theater. Said, my car's still in the lot. And she went, oh, been here before. It did happen last year. We'll take no problem. Just, you know, the car will stay in the lot overnight safely. Nobody's going to touch it. It won't get towed. But you'll need to be back in the morning pretty early to pick it up. So anyway, logistically got handled, and I went back next morning, got my car. It was sweet, because they had a flea market on Sundays, and basically they need the whole lot. So they my car coned off, but now as soon as I can it the way, you were happy, it was all good. But the thing I want to say is, first of all, one is the intuition. I had the hunch when I first arrived to park on the street, and it would have been easy, wouldn't cost anything because the meters were expired, so it would have been fine to park there. I didn't do that. I parked it a lot, thinking it was more community-based to do that sort of thing, and I missed the information. The reason I'm saying this is because when it comes to dating, if we listen, if we check things out, we'll be more prepared for dating. The thing about dating is not about luck. I know I said it's about willingness and other things too, but it's also about being forearmed and forewarned sort of thing, be prepared. And to listen to those in the guidance, because the thing about dating is, you know innately when it lines up and when it doesn't. But if you run the tape that it's all about luck and you won't get what you want, you'll never find anybody. But if you take, and I know it's a long way to make a point, but if you really do listen to that wisdom inside that is speaking, which I tend to do most of the time, except once in a while where I ignore it like I did Saturday, that you'll get the actual reminder or the nudge to say, you know what, it's okay to risk here. It's okay to say hi here. It's okay to lean in. And then it's no longer about luck, it's about willingness. So I hope that story made sense.
It's a great story. It was a great teaching moment. Yeah. It's funny because she said, you know, other people have done it, because if you've never parked there before, you know, how do you know all the rules?
Right.
And then the other part that you're teaching yourself was what you had just mentioned before the break of go to the first meeting or the first conversation with, I'm just going to learn, and I'm going to have a sense of humor about it, and I'm going to be relaxed, and I'm not going to give myself a hard time. I'm going to have grace for me and grace for the other people. So you didn't have a whole big thing about that your car got locked up, and then you're like, how do I get home? I don't have a car. And how do I get back because I don't have a car? I mean, those are the things you have to work out. And it's better to use your mind and your energy on that than the recrimination that when we, in the dating arena, oh, I should have known better. And, oh, I'm only meeting jerky people. And that's not ever helpful. It's never helpful.
No.
That if you think, oh, what did I learn that I would do differently next time before I was sitting here with somebody? Or, wow, that was a total surprise. I wouldn't even have known what to ask to find that out before I got here. And it's always a learning curve. Always, always, always. That when you're in school, hopefully, and the teacher was teaching you math, she didn't expect you to know math in the beginning, or you were learning. And so you have grace for yourself, and hopefully they had grace for you too. And that this is all this is, because we're going to go back to, nobody just knows how to do this. So it's all a bunch of practice, and that you just go, what did I learn? What did I learn? Okay, I will do that the same, or I'll do this differently, or wow, I need to learn something else because I have no idea what to do differently. And that's what keeps putting you in the right place to meet the right people as you keep refining it, which then you could be one of those people that go, oh, I was so lucky I showed up. And I will hope that Barry and I will hope that you will say about what the work is you did ahead of time. I will never say it was lucky that I met my late husband at all. I feel very fortunate, that we met each other at the very time we did, because we were both so ready to do this. And so I know the work I did ahead of time. And it's funny how you talk about the overnight success, because I've now started and run, this is my second company. And there's a tiny little group of people that hear all the year and a half, because they each were a year and a half of working on it before I told the general population, who thinks I've opened 2 companies in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, no.
Right.
And I don't want them to think that, but the people who I don't tell as I'm doing the process would, aren't you there yet? Aren't you there yet? And I don't need that. I need people who go, yep, she's plotting. Yep, she has to figure this out. And they get that I take a while. So that's the other thing I want to make as the point of this. Be careful who you tell when you're doing your work, because oh my God, you've been on 3 dates and none of them worked out. You should just give up. Dating apps are terrible, or there's no single, and they're going to feed into the scarcity. When Gary keeps saying, there's so many people out there. There's so many people to practice with. There's so many people. And it's funny how women go, there's no men, and men are like, we're everywhere. Why do women say, we notice there's women everywhere? Why don't they notice that we're there too?
The thing, I'll say to this one for a second. I want to go back to the school piece in a moment. But the thing is, I want to say to that is, when you're in a relationship, you'll notice lots and lots of single people, because it's like you're not pushing, you're not searching. Like you said right at the beginning of the show about, they weren't looking for it and they showed up. If you're looking, they don't show up as easily. But if you're not looking, they're everywhere. It's almost like, you have to look the other direction so they can show up behind you, sort of thing. It's this sort of game we play. But it's kind of the way the universe works. You got to just be open and be okay with it, because when we're looking, it's almost like we're pushing away people we want to meet, to not really working on it. And that's one of the biggest philosophical things to shift inside, is to almost be in the energy of like already being in a relationship energetically. So you're not being desperate, needy, or pushy, because that's what drives people away. So that's a simple fix. Not always easy, but it's simple. I want to go back to school for a second, because the thing is, and I said this in a conversation recently with somebody else, it's interesting how in school they do sex education, but they don't do dating education or relationship education. So we wonder why we don't have relationship skills as an adult, because it wasn't taught to us. The only thing we had as a model was other people we watched around us, especially as kids, our parents as the most optimum model, but we didn't see them date because they were already together when we were born. So we don't see dating success stories more easily. I'm not shown how to do it. So when we're an adult going out the dating and we feel a bit inept, it's not surprising. We don't have skills, we don't have practice. So it can feel like it's going to be about luck. But the reality is, everybody has to sort of learn, like when you first start to walk as a baby, you don't get up the first time and suddenly you're walking, you fall down again. You get up and fall down again. You get up, fall down again. But you don't say halfway through, that's it, I can't walk, I'm giving up. No, you get up again until you're walking again. The definition of a successful walker is somebody got up one more time, then they fell down. It sounds so simple, but it's true. So with dating, the definition of a successful dater is somebody who dates more than they stop. So if you're not feeling that you're going to have what you want, you're feeling you're going to have luck for it, it's not the right approach to really be willing to date, to get out and explore. And frankly, even on the date with somebody, you can say to them, I'm out of practice, I'm not really good at this, I hope you don't mind. Then they know you're probably like them. Yeah. So it's softening the blow, because the thing about dating is it is not about being perfect, because if you are, it's going to fall apart.
And I'm going to go back to one of your points. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
Act as if. So don't pretend to be in a relationship. But one of my things that I ask on my 10 questions is, what would being in a relationship change in your life? And they go on and on about the things they would be doing. And I go, what, pick one thing, go do that.
Mhm.
I would take up golf, or I'd travel more. And especially if it's women, I will teach you how to be safe doing that. There's so many travel agencies that are catering to women now because there's so many women with discretionary income in our age group that like traveling with other women, and they'll like give you a questionnaire. It's almost like a dating questionnaire if you want to, because it's so much cheaper to room with somebody, especially on a ship. So they match you up, whether you snore or, you're an early person or something, which I think is just so nice because you don't have to do anything. They are all in the matching part. They're like Match.com for cabins on cruise lines. But go do at least one, if not more, of the things that you would already be doing if you were in a relationship. Because you're going to have what's really interesting psychologically, because there's so much of this. If you say, this is the thing I would do if I was dating or in a relationship, I'm going to go do it. And you're like, oh, I'm having a little bit more of a relationship attitude. It's wild how your brain will just do this. It'll just do it without you having to do a bunch of work around it. This is the simple part. The not easy part is to go do it. And then you'll meet other people that are there to meet other people. Because generally that's why people join stuff like pickleball and going to the movies and hiking. Even if it's not for relationship, they're there to relate. That's really what they're there most of the time. I mean, there's people that want to walk quietly. Like you probably are happy to walk quietly until you talk to the people that are there right now, because you don't have a person to walk with. But you're happy to talk to the people that come by, especially the ones that you've seen a bunch. So you get to regulate like Barry does. Because I walk in a very different area. I don't go in the hills. I stay in this city. I'm a city gal. It's in my blood.
You're a
Yes,
Flatlander.
I am very much. I have a park that has a hill, but it's still a park in the middle of the city. So do the act as if in your activities. Do it in what you're going to be out there doing. Do it in your attitude of, well, I'm a valuable person and I am valuable enough to be doing this thing, even if I don't have a special person to do it, because I'm going to find people to do it with. And I'll tell you, I've had a number of clients with that attitude go and join stuff. And eventually they've met a person that they're in now a relationship with. And so I really think there's a whole bunch of different attitudes we can have that help with the success that looks like luck, but it really isn't. It's because you laid a lot of groundwork ahead of time.
It is. It is that simple a fact. Is it can feel like luck when you've been practicing for 4 years, That is the thing. So getting yourself up and out to go dating, it can be clunky at first. Driving a car, you have to drive with learner plates on the car, and you have somebody go with you. I'm not saying you need somebody to go with you when you go dating, but imagine that you're learning how to do all the things you drop when you learn to drive. Turn signals, mirror, your seatbelt, all those different things. When you go on a date, you basically ideally do some sort of prep work. So oh yeah, straighten up my clothes, look decent. Clean up your hair. Turn your cell phone off. All these different things you want to do that make it more conducive to be on a date, and then see what happens. Because the worst thing that happens is nothing happens. And it sounds simplistic, but the reality is when you do that, it's anywhere from there is up, basically.
And if you were brave enough to go do something, even if the nothing that you didn't meet anybody that you wanted to have coffee with or talk to more, you got yourself out. That's need to give you. The thing is, we set these unrealistic expectations that if this big expectation doesn't happen, there's nothing good about it. So I want you to give the credit that you figured out what to do. You got brave and did it. You put yourself there. You hopefully, at Barry and I's request, talk to a couple of people that were there. Ask them about other meetups, because this might not be your thing. When you get there, they might not be your people, but they tell you about something. You're like, oh, I would go do that. So all those things are little successful steps, like the baby that keeps getting up because they really want to run across the room. They really want the thing on the table. That was always the enticement. We'd put some really fun thing on the table and they'd figure out how to get up there and then walk around the table to the other side to get the thing. So you need to dangle. I'm into bribing. Bribe yourself to go out and do something and then go, good on me that I did it. Because the more success you can feel, real success, if you set yourself with the success was you did it, no matter what happened, then you're going to feel more apt to go do it again.
Yeah.
And we've talked forever about how both sides, men and women, say the sexiest thing is self-confidence. And you'll start feeling more comfortable and confident about putting yourself out there and talking to people if you just keep practicing, even though it's hard.
This is the thing, that it can feel hard because you haven't done it.
Mhm.
It's one of these catch-22. It's like when you do it, it's easy, but when you don't do it, it feels hard. So you don't want to do it. So it feels harder. The flipping the script, so to speak, the owning of it is to say that you're on the other side of it when you've been there. And maybe you haven't been on a date for years, or maybe you were married for a long time and didn't go on dating. That's all different and not sure what to do. If you set up your dating as a baby step, as okay, I'm going to climb up and hang on to the coffee table sort of thing. Let's do that much at least. So you go on a first date and that's simple. And hey, it might be the only one you need. Maybe everything goes great after that, but then maybe you have to go on other ones. But once you've done one, the second one gets easier, then the third one gets easier, and so on and so forth. So having the willingness to take the first step is really the key. Because once you've done the first step, the second step gets easier, because the hardest part is taking that first step. And when it comes to dating, that first date can feel really challenging. But once you've done one, then it's like, well, now that I didn't die, first of all.
That's the bottom line. There's the baseline. Yeah.
Sometimes people carry inside. But beyond that, also, I had some experiences. I learned something about myself. I know someone will do differently next time, which then means, oh, that means I can do it next time. And then you can build from there. So step by step is really the way to do it.
And that's how you stop getting discouraged and frustrated and giving up after the third time.
Yeah.
If you really do see that you're learning something new every time. I've never not. Every first meeting I've ever had, I have learned stuff about me and about them.
Yep, every time.
Lots of reasons why I wouldn't go out with them again. It was fascinating, all the reasons I wouldn't go out with somebody again.
It's
nice
actually
reasons, challenging reasons.
It's actually one of the things I suggest if you're going on dates, to bring with you as a thing of like, okay, if it doesn't work out, what do I learn? Actually, if it does work out, I learn. Use that as a mindset. Bring it in. It'll elevate the quality of your dates.
Because then you'll never feel like it was a failure. Because getting a second date is not the goal. The goal is, what did you learn? Because you might learn that you don't want a second date. So then it's good to know that you don't want a second date.
True enough.
You cannot set that up as the goal till you've met them in person. I am here to tell you, Barry and I both know this for a fact.
From your own
experience. No matter
experience.
how good they look on paper or how great they are on the phone, you don't know if they're going to be that great when you meet them. And yeah, I'd really like to see them again. And you're like, so not. We are not each other's people. They're perfectly fine, but they're so not my person. And I am not their person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So gosh, I'm hoping this has given you all something to think about. And I hear so much lately about how people have been listening and really learning a lot and sharing it with their friends. I said, oh, Barry and I are very excited about that, because that's why we do this, to help you feel like I'm learning things and now there's even more to learn. So if you've gotten to the I want to learn more place, then the way to get a hold of me, as I mentioned, is to go to my website at www.theperfectcatch.com. Go to the middle, click on the questionnaire, fill out the questions, schedule a conversation with me for free, and we can get to the bottom of what's been going on and see what I could do to help you. You can also send me an email at Christine@theperfectcatch.com. And while you're on my homepage, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see all the links for my social media of Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and Pinterest. And the YouTube link will give you all the over 240 YouTube podcasts that Barry and I have done. You can also join my mailing list. You'll get a repeat of the podcast every week, and also a newsletter that tells you what's going on in my life. You can go to the top of my website and click on ebook, and you get a free copy of my dating book. And just let me know what you think about it. That's the only cost at the moment. I'm working on a book to pay for, but right now I'm giving away what I wrote for a long time in the past. It's just been combined into a book. So nice. Barry, please tell people how to get a hold of you.
Yes. Well, I'll get to my book at the end, because I do have a book you can buy. But on my website, as I already mentioned, you can get on my calendar and get into conversation. So that's at the top of the screen. At the bottom of the screen on the homepage of my website, which again is barryselby.com, you can opt into my email list, which, like Christine, I send out weekly emails with replays of the show, things I'm working on, opportunities, invitations to work with me. I've got a program right now that's just passed its week 3, which is on emotional freedom, which I'm probably going to offer again in a different format. So if something interests you about having better emotional stability, freedom in your own life, send me an email at barry@barryselby.com to let me know you're interested in that, and I'll put you on the email list for that. On the middle of the screen, on the homepage, is my first quiz, which is actually, if you're not sure about dating, I have a quiz, which is really your relationship readiness assessment. So it really is, are you ready to date? Are you ready to get in a relationship? So take the quiz, because that'll give you some navigational points and perspective on where you are on the dating journey. So, and if you want to go directly, you can go to barryselby.com/quiz, or you can say click on the button in the middle of the screen, and it'll give you a chance to go through. I forget how many questions it is now, but it gives you like 4 different areas to focus on. If you want to go even deeper than that, I have another quiz, which is not available from a button, but I'll give you the direct link, which is barryselby.com/self-quiz. And you might guess from the title, it's about self-relationship. So if you want to really get clear about who you are in relation to yourself in the mirror and what you want to do to change your relationship with yourself so you can be better out in the world dating, take my self-quiz or self-assessment, so to speak. It's a 9-area discussion, or I should say list of questions that will give you a lot of feedback. That quiz has a whole PDF downloadable with it, which gives lots of guidance and steps and tips. So definitely take the self-quiz. It will change your life. I trust you. Trust me. Speaking of the book that I mentioned at the beginning, because I do have a book you can buy, because I want to promote it. If you go to my book page, which you go to navigation or go directly to barryselby.com/book, there is a audio track at the top of the screen, which is an AI-generated review of my book. So if you want to check out what my book's about without actually buying it yet, listen to the 12.5-minute discussion between 2 AI voices that sound very professional, but it's very accurate. They do know my book inside out because I gave them my book to look at, so to speak. And if you want to buy the book, the links to buy it at the bottom of the page. Also, my website are also some links to get on my calendar if you want to have a conversation about coaching, or cover my online programs are there as well. So tour my website and have a look around. Additionally, my social media is all my name, which is Barry Selby, similarly. So it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Blue Sky, and what's the other one? There's another one. Is basically, you look for me on social media, it's Barry Selby, except for Instagram and Threads, which is the real Barry Selby. And that's about, and YouTube, of course, that's where it is, because YouTube's where I have all the replays.
I know. And you have lots of replays along with our show.
Yes.
So we're always here on Thursday live on StreamYard from 1 o'clock Pacific and 4 o'clock Eastern. So you can watch us live. You can comment or ask us questions. And then if you want to watch the repeat, you can watch us on YouTube or on Roku on your TV. But if you want to take us and make us portable and listen to us, how do they do that, Barry?
Well, this show is actually a podcast now. So if you have a podcast platform you listen to, which could be Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Amazon Podcasts, which one it is, our show is now on the podcast platforms under Let's Talk Dating with Christine and Barry. You can take us with you and binge listen wherever you go. The great thing is you can listen to us when you're in the car, when you're biking, when you're doing anything. We don't need to look at the screen, and you'll get the same input you do, except you won't see our pretty faces.
I know. But they can hear our charming voices.
Indeed.
So we will be back next week with another very interesting subject about dating and relationships.
Absolutely. We'll see you then. Take care of yourselves.
Bye for now.